Jnanakosha, Puranas.
सर्गश्च प्रतिसर्गश्च वंशो मन्वन्तराणि च वंशानुचरितं चैव पुराणं पञ्चलक्षणम्.
Vamana Purana, Gajendra and the crocodile. Sage Narada requests Pulasya to describe how Gajendra managed to release itself from the jaws of the crocodile. Pulasya says, there lived a crocodile in a reservoir near Srikut mountain. One day a thirsty elephant arrived there to quench its thirst. The wicked crocodile caught hold of the elephant's leg and dragged it towards the middle of the reservoir. The elephant tried its best to release itself from the crocodile's jaws but was unsuccessful. Being helpless, it started remembering Lord Srihari as it was his great devotee. It picked up a lotus flower and chanted the following stotra. Salutations to that Lord Vishnu who is the originator of this universe. Salutations to the omnipresent Lord Vishnu who is revered by the sages. I take the refuge of Lord Vishnu who is also known by the names of Vishveshwara, Srihari and Sanatana Purusha. This way the elephant acknowledged Lord Vishnu with great devotion. Pleased by his devotion, Lord Vishnu killed the wicked crocodile with his Sudarshan Chakra and liberated the elephant. Actually, this crocodile was none other than Ganadharva Huhu, who had attained the form of crocodile after being cursed by sage Deva. He was liberated from the curse and went to heaven. Lord Vishnu touched the elephant and it got transformed into a divine human being. This way, with the blessings of Lord Vishnu, both of them were liberated. The greatness of Saraswata Stotra. Sage Pulasya says, there lived a Kshatriya who kept enmity towards Brahmins. After his death, he was reborn as a demon and spent his life indulging in nefarious activities. Once he saw a hermit doing penance. He wanted to devour him but was unsuccessful in his attempt as the hermit had protected himself by chanting Vishnu Panjar Stotra. So he waited for the hermit for 4 months to come out from his meditative trance. After the completion of his meditation, the hermit was surprised to see a weak and frail demon waiting for him. He asked the demon about his identity and the purpose for which he was waiting there. The demon told him that although he had come with the intention of devouring him, he was unsuccessful in his attempt as the hermit was well protected by Vishnu Panjar Stotra. I am very impressed by your spiritual feats and I am desirous of learning the same from you. I have committed many sins in my life, so tell me how to become liberated from them, asked the demon. But the hermit was not convinced and told the demon that he would never preach a demon. He advised the demon to take help of some other Brahmin. The demon went in search of another Brahmin. One day he saw a Brahmin doing penance and caught hold of him. The Brahmin was frightened and requested the demon, wait until I return after giving this fruit of my teacher. But the demon thought that the Brahmin was trying to escape, hence he did not allow the Brahmin to leave. The worried Brahmin went near a burning fire and pleaded to help. Suddenly Goddess Saraswati manifested herself and told the Brahmin, don't be afraid. With my blessings you would be able to narrate the means for the demon's benediction. After blessing the Brahmin, Goddess Saraswati disappeared. The Brahmin narrated the Saraswati Stotra to the demon. You must chant the following stotra thrice in a day. I make salutations to Lord Hari, who is also known as Krishna, Rishikesha, Vasudeva, Janardhana and Jagannatha. May he liberate me from my sins. I make salutations to Lord Vishnu, who rests on Sheshanag and who hails Kachakra Gadha and Chakra in his hand. May he liberate me from my sins. Lord Vishnu, who manifests himself in each individual soul just like the element of fire manifests itself in a piece of wood. May he liberate me from my sins. The Brahmin told the demon that the daily chanting of Saraswati Vishnu Stotra would enable him to get liberated from his sins. The demon was pleased and after releasing the Brahmin went to a place called Salagram. He engaged himself in severe penance and started chanting the stotra taught by the Brahmin. Ultimately, he was successful in becoming liberated from his sins and went to Vishnu Loka. Bali performs Ashwamedha Yajna, Bali's arrival at Kurukshetra. Pulisya says, after the departure of Prahalada in his pilgrimage, Bali, desirous of performing a yajna, went to Kurukshetra. Shukracharya had invited the descendants of sage Bhargava to supervise the proceedings of Ashwamedha Yajna, but his decision was not approved by the descendants of some other sages like Atri, Gautama, Kaushika and Angira. As a result, all of them left Kurukshetra. After their departure, Shukracharya started making preparations for the yajna and initiated both Vali and his wife Vindhyavali into the rituals. After that, a horse was let loose according to the tradition. The demon Tarikash followed that horse. The Ashwamedha Yajna continued for 3 months, after which Aditi gave birth to a child who was dwarfish in size at a time when the sun had just entered the zodiac of Gemini. All the deities and sages, including Lord Brahma, were extremely pleased by Lord Vamana's birth. They went to Aditi's hermitage and eulogized Lord Vamana. Lord Vamana became pleased by their eulogy and requested Lord Brahma to help perform his consecrations. On being instructed by Lord Brahma, sage Bharadwaja performed Vamana's Jata Karma and Yajnopavita. After that, sage Bharadwaja taught him Vedas and other scriptures, which was mastered by Vamana in less than 1 month. After finishing his studies, Lord Vamana sought his guru's permission to go to Kurukshetra. Sage Bharadwaja expressed his inability by saying, "How can a mortal like me give permission to the Supreme Lord? If you want to go to Kurukshetra, then how can I stop you from going there? I have some queries regarding your various abodes, and would you be gracious enough to enlighten me on that?" Lord Vamana said, "The whole universe, including the sky, earth, ocean, mountains, clouds, are pervaded by my existence. All the deities, sages, living and non-living things have manifested from me. When I took my first incarnation of Matsya, I told my abode in the holy waters of Manasa Sarovar. I had it. As my second incarnation of tortoise, I had my abode in the holy waters of Kaushiki river. I had my abode at Hastinapur when I took my incarnation as Govind. As Narayan, I had my abode at Badrikashram. As Jayesh, I had my abode at Bhadrakarna." This way, Lord Vamana described about his different abodes in great detail. Arrival of Lord Vamana at Kurukshetra. Pulasya says, after satisfying Bharadwaj's curiosity about his different abodes, Lord Vamana left for Kurukshetra, where Bali was busy performing his yajna. As soon as Lord Vamana reached Kurukshetra, the whole earth started shaking violently and high tides rose in the ocean. Being frightened of Lord Vishnu, Agni did not accept the offerings made by Bali. Bali was very surprised by all these sudden developments. He asked Shukracharya about the reason for all these strange happenings. Shukracharya replied, "O king of the demons, definitely all these strange happenings signifies the arrival of Lord Vasudeva. Bali then asked Shukracharya as to what was the most appropriate way of honoring his eminent guest. What donation should I make to him so that he is pleased and satisfied? Asked Bali. Shukracharya warned him by saying, forget about donating anything, otherwise you will get into serious trouble. Bali told, should I make to him so that he is pleased and satisfied? Asked Bali. Shukracharya warned him by saying, forget about donating anything, otherwise you will get into serious trouble. Bali told him that he would not disgrace himself by refusing to meet the demands made by Vasudeva. The way a man behaves in his speech, action and thoughts is the result of his past karmas. Are you not aware of the incident related with Koshka, which happened at Malaya mountain? Koshkar was the son of sage Mudgal. He was famous for his austerities and his wife too was very virtuous. In course of time a son was born to them, but alas, he was blind and deaf. Koshkar's wife abandoned the child in front of her house. Incidentally, an ogress named Surpakshi happened to arrive there, and after seeing the abandoned child, exchanged him with her own child. She carried Koshkar's child to Shalodhar mountain with the intention of devouring him. When her husband came to know about the incident, he reprimanded Surakshi for her misdeed. The demon warned the ogress that both of them would be cursed by the Brahmin, and advised her to keep the child at the same place from where she had brought him. In the meantime, Koshkar came out from his hermitage after hearing the cries of Surpakshi's child. He was surprised to find some other child instead of his own, and told his wife, it seems that this child is under the influence of a ghost. After saying this, he protected the child by demarcating a round circle initiated with mantra around him. Right then the ogress arrived, and after keeping the Brahmin's child on the ground, wanted to take back her own child, but she could not enter inside that circle. Koshkar took his child in his lap and went inside the hermitage. This way the ogress returned to the mountain without her child. Koshkar brought up both the children with great care. He named the ogress child as Divakar, while his own son was named Nishachar. As destiny would have liked it, Divakar turned out to be a very studious child and became well versed in Vedas within a very short time, whereas Nishachar was not interested in studies and had a bad habit of criticizing everybody. Koshkar became furious and threw Nishachar in a well. There was a amla tree inside that well, and the child survived, living on its fruits. This way 10 years passed, and one day Koshkar's wife arrived at the well to fetch water. On seeing his mother, Nishachar tried to convince her that he was her son. But she was not convinced. He then accompanied his mother back home and narrated the reason why he had taken birth as a deaf and blind child. In my previous birth, I was the son of Vrikshakapi and was very famous for my scholarly trials. In due course of time, I became very arrogant and started indulging in all sorts of evil deeds. After my death, I went to Raurava Naraka and suffered all the tortures over there. I was reborn as a tiger, and after being enslaved by a king, I was kept inside a cave. Once the king had gone out and the beautiful queen arrived near the gate. I was infatuated by her beauty and expressed my lusty desire to her. She was taken aback by my proposal and said, how can physical relations be possible between us? But I requested her to release me from opening the cage door. The queen opened the door and I became free. I caught hold of her and tried to satiate my lust, but right then the guards arrived there and killed me. Once again I went to the hell, and after suffering the pain, I was reborn as an ass. My master was Agniveshya, a Brahman. Once his wife Sumati wanted to go to her father's house. Agniveshya advised her to go riding on my back and instructed his servant to escort us. While on our journey, we reached a river and Sumati expressed her desire to take bath. She went to take bath and I waited for her to return. While she was taking her bath, I became infatuated by her beauty and caught hold of her. The servant who was escorting us saw this and became angry. He killed me by hitting with his stick. Once again I went to hell and was reborn as a parrot. A wicked fowler trapped and sold me to a trader's son. Although I lived a luxurious life, yet I was not happy because of my slavery. Once his daughter arrived near my cage and I playfully kept me on her breast. I became infatuated and tried to have physical relationship with her. But I was suffocated to death after getting entangled in her necklace. Once again I went to hell and after suffering the tortures was reborn as a bull. My master was a Chandala and I used to pull his cart. Once his wife was sitting in the cart I was pulling. Unmindful of her surroundings, she was singing songs in a beautiful voice. After listening to her melodious voice, I became infatuated and tried to have physical relations with her. I turned back, but the noose around my neck became tight and I was suffocated to death. Once again I went to hell and after suffering the pains was reborn as a blind and deaf son to you. I remember all my previous lives and I am aware that my physical disabilities are only because of my past sins. I have decided to atone for all my sins by doing penance and indulging in various deeds. After saying this, he went to Badrikashram to do penance. After finishing his story, Bali told Shukracharya that a man inherits his qualities from his past life and it is impossible for him to change them. It is applicable to both good and bad qualities. My penance, virtuosity, benevolence and generosity have been inherited from my past life and come what may, I have decided not to shun them. Pulaksya says, this way Bali remained firm in his resolve to meet any demand made by his esteemed guest and started waiting eagerly for his arrival. Lord Vamana's demands. Bali was pleased that he would get an opportunity to see the Almighty God whom the sages contemplate upon. He was proud of his good fortune that the Lord was paying him a visit. Shukracharya, aware of the reason for Vamana's arrival, warned Bali against making any promise to him. Bali replied, how can I refuse? The Almighty God demands anything from me. I am willing to face any hardship to safeguard my benevolent image. I don't mind if the deities get benefited by my actions. Even if the Lord is coming with the intention of killing me, I am not scared, as that is how I would attain salvation. Come what may, I am not going to abandon my charitable nature. As the conversation between Shukracharya and Bali continued, suddenly Lord Vamana arrived at the site. Vamana's radiance subdued the power of all the demons present there. Lord Vamana, being impressed by the grandeur of Vamana's yajna, complimented him for organizing such a magnificent yajna. Bali realized and worshipped his esteemed guest. He requested Vamana to reveal the reason for his arrival and promised that his wishes would be fulfilled. Lord Vamana smiled and told him that he needed a small piece of land measured by 3 steps for the performance of yajna. Bali was surprised by this demand and requested him to ask for more land, but Lord Vamana told him that he needed only that much land. Bali agreed and took a vow to donate a piece of land measured by 3 steps. Hardly that Bali had taken his vow when suddenly Lord Vamana expanded his size. His first step covered the whole earth by his two successive steps, he covered the two worlds. This way, Bali was forced to donate all the three worlds according to his vow. Lord Vishnu then made Indra the king of all the three worlds and sent Bali to the nether world named Sutav. He blessed Bali saying, "You would enjoy a long life till the end of this present kalpa. You would hold the post of Indra till the arrival of Sarvani Manvantara. As long as you remain supportive of the Brahmins and the deities, you would enjoy all the pleasures of life. But if you go against their wishes, then you would be fastened by Varuna's noose." After saying this, Lord Vishnu disappeared. Lord Brahma worships Lord Vamana. Narada asked sage Pulasya as to where did Lord Vamana go after disappearing from the oblation side. Pulasya said, Lord Vamana went to Brahmaloka mounted on his Garuda. On seeing him, Lord Brahma gave a warm reception and after worshipping him, asked about the reason for his sudden arrival. Lord Vamana told him that he had sent Bali to Sutalaloka for the welfare of the deities and so that they could get their share of the yajna. Lord Brahma expressed his desire to see the giant form of Vishnu, which he had taken while measuring all the three worlds. Lord Vishnu obliged him and showed his giant appearance. Lord Brahma was impressed and eulogized him. He requested Lord Vishnu to remain in Brahmaloka in his appearance of Vamana. Lord Vishnu had agreed to do this and remained there. Bali lives in Patala Loka. Pulasya says, after reaching the nether world, Bali got constructed a beautiful city made of diamonds and other precious stones. Vishwakarma had constructed an enormous sized altar in the central part of the city. The windows of Bali's palace were well decorated with pearls. Bali lived there in luxury and by enjoying all the pleasures of life. One day, while the demons were engaged in their sensual pleasures, suddenly the fearsome Sudarshan Chakra entered Bali's palace and after making the demons bereft of their radiance went back to Lord Vishnu. Bali was very worried and thought that only his grandfather Prahalada could help him out from this situation. On being remembered by Bali, Prahalada appeared before him. Bali requested him to describe the means which would be benefactory to him. Prahalada was pleasantly surprised by his change of heart and said, At last you have realized your mistake. Listen, Bali, a man who takes refuge in Lord Vishnu and surrenders himself to his will becomes liberated from all the miseries and sorrows of life. A man who has accepted Lord Vishnu as his master need not fear from anything, not even death. All the things which are visible in this universe are the various manifestations of Lord Vishnu himself. A devotee of Lord Vishnu does not have to go to hell, and he becomes liberated from the cycles of birth and death. This way Prahalada described about the greatness of Lord Vishnu and his worship in great detail. Bali's queries to Prahalada. Bali inquired about the virtues which a man attains by the worship of Lord Vishnu. He also asked Prahalada about the worship and its rituals by which Lord Vishnu is pleased. Prahalada says, Sages believe that the donations which are made with total devotion and in the name of Lord Vishnu exist forever. Lord Vishnu is extremely pleased if Malati, Shatwari, Champa, Juhi and Nagar flowers are offered to him. He is also pleased when the offerings of Bilva Patra, Shami Patra, Tamal and Amali Patra are made to him. He is pleased when sesame seeds are donated during the Hindu month of Magha. A person who gets a Vishnu temple constructed liberates his ancestors from their sins. Bali, you must get the Vishnu temple constructed and worship with complete devotion. You must try to please Lord Vishnu by making donations of cow, jewels, gold and land. If you engage yourself in such virtuous activities, then you will certainly attain benediction. After saying this, Prahalada disappeared. After Prahalada's departure, Bali followed his instructions faithfully and engaged himself in the worship of Lord Vishnu. He instructed Vishwakarma to construct a magnificent temple of Lord Vishnu and started worshipping Lord Vishnu, accompanied by his wife. He used to clean the temple premises and offer the articles which were dear to Lord Vishnu. This way, Bali and his wife, Vidyavali, engaged themselves in the worship of Lord Vishnu with complete devotion. Benefits of studying Vamana Purana. Study of Vamana Purana helps a man to enhance his knowledge and makes him free from all kinds of worldly attachments. It also increases his love and devotion towards the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. There are 10 characteristics evident in all the Puranas: Sarga, Visarga, Sthana, Poshana, Uti, Vriti, Raksha, Manvantara, Vansha, and Upashriya. Sarga deals with the description of the origin of this universe. Visarga enlightens us as how a living thing transforms itself from one species to another. Sthana, Poshana, Utti, and Vritti deal with the description of various means which are employed by a man for his survival. Raksha describes about the various incarnations of Lord Vishnu which he takes for the protection of the human kind. Manvantara deals with the complete description of history of the whole Manvantara period. Vansha describes about the lineage of all the kings, including Lord Brahma. Upasharya enlightens us on the real meaning of Brahma. Pulasya says, a man who listens to the divine tales of Vamana Purana attains to Vishnu Loka after becoming free from all his sins. He attains the same virtues which a performer of Ashwamedha Yajna does. Even listening to one part of Vamana Purana bestows great virtues and equivalent to making pilgrimage of numerous sacred places. Narada Vamana Purana is the 14th of all the 18 Puranas which describes about the majesty of Lord Vishnu. 5 names of Lord Vishnu have been mentioned in Vamana Purana: Karan, Vamana, Narayana, Amita Vikrama, Sharganga Chakra, and Purushottama. A devotee who chants any of these sacred names of Lord Vishnu and makes salutations either by speech, thought, or deed attains to Vishnu Loka. Vamana incarnation, Indra does penance to atone for his sins. Pulasya says, after being defeated by the demons, Indra went to Brahma Loka and narrated his awful tale to him. Sage Kashyapa, his father, was also present there. Lord Brahma told Indra that he was reaping the fruits of his evil deeds. Sage Kashyapa told him that his miseries were due to the sin acquired by the destruction of Diti's fetus. Indra asked both of them how his sins could be atoned. Lord Brahma advised him to take Sri Hari's help. Indra then went to the north of Kalinjar mountain and started living in a hermitage situated on the bank of river Mahanadi. He did penance for 1 year. Pleased by his devotion, Lord Vishnu appeared and blessed him, saying, "Your austere penance has liberated you from the sin of destroying Diti's fetus, and very soon you will regain your kingdom." After receiving the blessing, Indra went to Aditi's hermitage and narrated the tale of his defeat at the hands of demons. Aditi knew that Indra would not have been defeated had Lord Vishnu been on his side during the battle. So she went to Lord Vishnu and worshipped him with devotion. Lord Vishnu assured her that very soon he would incarnate as her son and destroy the demons. Having said this, a part of Lord Vishnu's effulgence entered into Aditi's womb. Bali abused Lord Vishnu. After Lord Vishnu had established himself inside Aditi's womb, the demons became devoid of their radiance. Bali was surprised by his sudden development and asked Prahalada about it. Prahalada went into deep meditation and saw Lord Vishnu manifesting in Aditi's womb. After coming out from his meditative trance, he told Bali that the demons had lost their radiance due to Sri Hari, who is about to take incarnation at the request of the deities. The arrogant Bali made fun of Sri Hari by saying, "Who is this Sri Hari? We have many mighty warriors in our ranks who are more powerful than Vasudev." Prahalada was a devotee of Sri Hari, and he did not take the arrogant utterances of Bali. He cursed him by saying that very soon he would meet his downfall and lose his kingdom. After being cursed, Bali realized his mistake and begged for forgiveness. Prahalada too had calmed down by that time and said, "Even though Lord Vishnu is omnipresent, I curse you being under the influence of my ignorance. My words will certainly become true, but don't lose heart. Go and take refuge in Sri Hari, the Supreme Protector. He will liberate you from all your sorrows." After saying this, Prahalada went on his pilgrimage. The deity's resting days. Lord Vishnu takes rest on Sheshanag during the whole period of Uttarayana, which begins just after the last day of the bright lunar phase in the Hindu month of Ashada is over. After he goes to sleep, all the deities, Gandharvas, Devamata, and they all follow suit. Narada requested sage Pulasya to shed light on the days when the deities take rest. Sage Pulasya replied, "A devotee should consider the 11th day of the Hindu month of Ashada Shukla Paksha, when the sun enters the zodiac of Gemini, as the day when Lord Vishnu goes to rest. A devotee should make a replica of Sheshanag, and after worshipping the idol of Lord Vishnu, lay him down to rest on the 12th day. Kamadev is said to take rest on the 13th day on his bed made of kadamba flowers. The Yakshaganas take rest on the 14th day of the Hindu month of Ashad Shukla Paksha. Their beds are made of yellow lotus. Lord Shiva is believed to take rest on Purnima. His bed is made of tiger skin.